Premium grass-fed beef sells for $15 to $30 a pound. The 7 insects in this video sell for more than that per pound, and some of them aren't even close. One is worth tens of thousands of dollars a pound, and you can raise it on a single shelf in a spare room. No land, no barn, no livestock permit to begin. Here is the honest part most videos bury, and I am putting it first. You have heard the number $3,500 a month from a shelf of bugs. That is the stacked, aggregate, all 7 streams running together, built out after years. It is not what one bin pays you next month. Anyone who tells you one tote of grubs prints $3,000 by Tuesday is lying, and the comments always catch them. The real buyers here are unglamorous and dependable, reptile and amphibian keepers, backyard chicken and wild bird people, and the premium exotic pet trade. The per-pound prices are genuinely shocking, but per pound is a hook, not a paycheck, because almost nobody sells these by the pound. We count down from 7 to 1, ascending margin, ending on the most absurd number on the internet. And number 1 is the one I would start tomorrow. Before any math, one rule, repeated all the way down. Check your city ordinance, your state ag department, and your HOA or lease. Number 7. Black soldier fly larvae. Fast-growing grubs you raise on food scraps and spent grain, then sell live or dried as a high-calcium feed for chickens and reptiles. Almost nobody closes the loop for one honest reason. The adult fly mating step needs warmth and light, so most people just buy the dried grubs instead of breeding them. That gap is your opening. Here is the real math. To start honestly, on one bin, you spend $120 to $300, a breeding tote, a self-harvesting ramp, a heat source, and your first larvae. Ongoing runs $30 to $90 a month, mostly substrate, which can be free if you collect scraps. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner in year 1 is $40 to $200, and realistically near zero until the colony self-reproduces, which takes 3 to 6 months. Now the per-pound story. Dried black soldier fly larvae retail around $16 to $19 a pound in 1-pound bags. Grubterra is about $16 on subscription, $19 one-time. That retail tier clears premium beef on a per-pound basis. And dried grubs ship about 10 times lighter than the equivalent live weight. Bulk is brutal, though. 11-pound bags drop to $5.45 to $7.70 a pound. So you only win at the small retail and live local tier. Live sells around $10 to $20 a pound locally, usually by the cup, $6 to $10 per 100 count. Your 2 best buyers, local backyard chicken keepers through Facebook Marketplace and the Backyard Chickens Forum at backyardchickens.com, and reptile and bird keepers at regional reptile expos like Repticon, plus feeder listings in the Grubterra and Dubia Roaches style. Now the legal landmine, and this one is sharper than people think. Hermetia illucens is not on the APHIS list of arthropods exempt from a PPQ 526 permit, unlike crickets and mealworms. Hobby live sales are widely tolerated, and most product moves as dried poultry feed, which is unregulated. But commercial interstate shipment of live larvae technically falls under USDA APHIS PPQ 526 and State Ag Review, and large producers operate under rearing permits. No live shipping into Hawaii or Alaska without a permit. Dried, killed product ships free. Correct the hype out loud. The viral $3,500 a month from a tote claim is fantasy. One bin yields a few pounds a week, and you reach real money only by selling dried at retail or stacking this with the other 6 over years. Number 6. House crickets. The industry staple feeder, also milled into protein-rich cricket flour. Hardly anyone breeds them at home at scale, and there are two honest reasons. Crickets are loud and they smell, and a single Acheta densovirus crash can wipe an entire colony overnight. So most hobbyists buy rather than breed. The margin trick here isn't the live bug, it's the flower. Real math. Startup is $100 to $300. Bins, egg flats, heat, and chick feed. Ongoing runs $40 to $120 a month, mostly feed and electricity for heat. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is $50 to $250 in year one selling live feeders locally. Flour adds margin but needs food-safe drying and milling and real volume to matter. The per-pound lever is the flour. Pure cricket powder retails $30 to $45 a pound, and it takes about 4 pounds of live crickets, roughly 4,200 to 4,800 of them, to make 1 pound. At that price, the powder massively beats premium beef. Live feeders are lower margin, about $14 per thousand at Carolina Crickets, roughly $7 to $12 a pound live. So crickets clear steak both ways, but the flour is where the eye-popping number lives. Your two buyers, local reptile keepers and independent pet shops through Facebook Marketplace and Repticon Expos, plus feeder listings on Dubia Roaches and Josh's Frogs. And for flour, direct sales on Etsy to bakers and makers, plus small wholesale to protein snack brands like Entomo Farms. Now legality, which here is friendly. Acheta domesticus is explicitly on the APHS list, needing no PPQ 526 permit for interstate movement in the continental U.S., provided shipments are clean of contaminants. A PPQ 526 is required to ship to Hawaii and U.S. territories. But the moment you sell cricket flour for human food, you fall under FDA food rules and state cottage food or food facility registration. So that is a different compliance world. Correct the hype directly. Cricket flour is the new gold rush at $45 a pound. Easy money. Reality, at 4-to-1 conversion plus drying and food-safe processing, your real margin is a fraction of the sticker price. The human edible insect market in the U.S. is still tiny, and one disease crash zeroes a colony overnight. Number 5. Number 5. Mealworms. The larvae of the darkling beetle and the single easiest insect to farm on a shelf. Brand substrate, no noise, no smell. Almost nobody commercializes them because cheap imported dried product sets a brutal price floor. So the money is in local live sales, not competing with bulk bags. That floor scares people off, which leaves the local lane wide open for you. Real math. Startup is the lowest tier yet, $80 to $200. Stacked drawers, bran, and a heat source. Ongoing runs $25 to $70 a month. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is $30 to $150 in year one, and the cash is backloaded because mealworms breed slowly, beetle to harvest is 3 to 4 months. The per-pound picture is narrower than the bugs above it, so I will be straight. Dried mealworms retail about $12.50 a pound in small 2-pound bags, which sits at the bottom edge of premium beef territory at the consumer tier. But bulk crashes to about $6.36 a pound in 88-pound sacks, so the win versus beef is only at the 1 to 2-pound retail and treat tier and through live sales, never bulk. Live mealworms run about 2 to 4 cents each, roughly $8 to $15 a pound live, and the common unit is the 1,000-count box. Your two buyers, backyard chicken and wild bird keepers through Facebook Marketplace and the Backyard Chickens Forum for dried treats, plus local pet and feed shops, and reptile keepers through Repticon Expos and feeder marketplaces like Dubia Roaches, Rainbow Mealworms, and the Uncle Jim style listings. Legality is gentle here. Tenebrio molitor is explicitly on the APHIS No PPQ 526 Interstate Movement Exemption list for the continental U.S. No permit needed if shipments are clean. A PPQ 526 is still required to ship live into Hawaii and U.S. territories. Dried mealworms sold as animal feed face minimal federal friction, but human food mealworm products fall under FDA and state food rules. Correct the hype. The passive shelf of mealworms equals quit your job angle ignores that imported bulk dried product sets a $6 floor. Your colony scales slowly at months per generation, and beginners net tens to low hundreds a month. The real money is local live feeders and small dried treat bags, not undercutting an importer. Number 4. Dubia roaches. A slow, flightless, non-climbing tropical roach bred as a clean, high-protein reptile feeder, sold live by count or by the pound. Few people farm it, and the reasons are honest. Breeding cockroaches carries a stigma. Colonies take 4 to 6 months to scale, and it is outright illegal in Florida, which scares hobbyists off. That fear keeps supply tight and prices high. Real math. Startup is $80 to $250. Bins, egg flats, heat, and starter colony. Ongoing runs $25 to $70 a month. Be honest about the curve. Year 1 solo is roughly $0 to $150 a month net for the first 6 months because the colony reinvests instead of selling. Then it climbs to $150 to $500 a month once a few bins hit breeding maturity. Not $1,000+ alone in year 1. But the per-pound math is wild because Dubia sell live by weight. Retail runs $26 to $75 a pound. Dubia Deli's 2025 pricing has small nymphs from $75 a pound, mediums from $40, large and adults around $26 to $40, because smaller nymphs pack far more sellable individuals per pound. Even mid-size at $40 a pound beats premium beef. By the cup, it is brutal. 1-inch feeders retail about 10 to 20 cents each, so a pound of live retail Dubia is well over $50. Your 2 buyers, a Morph Market shop in the live insects category, and Fauna Classifieds feeder classifieds, both named Reptile Keeper marketplaces, plus local independent reptile and exotic pet stores on standing wholesale terms and feeder tables at Repticon and Narbex expos. Now the legal maze, and Dubia has the messiest one so far. It is a regulated non-native arthropod. Interstate shipment as a feeder requires the shipper hold a USDA APHIS PPQ 526 permit, and each destination state's ag department must concur. Florida bans Dubia entirely under Florida Administrative Code 5B57. Native discoid roaches are the legal substitute, so no seller can ever get a Florida Dubia permit. Hawaii, Alaska, and some island jurisdictions also block shipment. Selling locally in person sidesteps the interstate permit issue, but you still obey your own state's rules. Correct the hype. Start a Dubia colony and it pays your rent in a couple months is false. The colony spends its first 4 to 6 months growing breeding stock you cannot sell. Dubia are slow breeders versus crickets, and the PPQ 526 plus Florida ban caps your reachable market. Real recurring income, but a slow compounding side stream. Number 3. Waxworms. The fatty larva of the greater wax moth sold as a high-value treat feeder for reptiles and birds, and as premium panfish and ice fishing bait. Almost nobody raises them because the moth is a notorious beehive pest. The larvae must stay cool and get used fast on a short shelf life, and home culture is smelly and finicky to keep disease-free. Difficulty is exactly why the price holds up. Real math. Startup is $60 to $200. Ongoing runs $20 to $60 a month. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner in year one is realistically $50 to $300. Per worm margins are thin and labor and spoilage eat into them, so it is volume plus a steady buyer that makes it add up, not one big sale. The per pound math works because of count, not weight. Waxworms run $250 to $500 per pound, and wholesale they sell for about $40 to $52 per thousand, so roughly 4 to 10 cents each, which pencils to about $25 to $50 a pound wholesale. At retail in 50 to 100 count cups, they fetch 6 to 13 cents each, pushing a retail pound to $30 to $65, comfortably above premium beef, and the bait market pays even more in winter ice fishing season. Your two buyers. Local bait and tackle shops, especially in ice fishing states like Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin, buying recurring wholesale tubs, plus established bulk buyers like Bite Me Waxworms and Best Bet on standing orders, and reptile keepers through a morph market shop, fauna classifieds, and feeder tables at Repticon and Narbeck. The legal landmine. Galleria melanella is a plant and hive pest, so interstate shipment requires a USDA APHIS PPQ 526 permit and per state ag concurrence. Many sellers explicitly will not ship to Hawaii, with Hawaii Chapter 150A quarantine plus Alaska restrictions in play. As a known beehive pest, some states scrutinize them harder than dubia. In-person local sales avoid the interstate permit hurdle, but still fall under your state's ag and live bait rules. Correct the hype. Waxworms are pure profit because they sell for so much per worm is the claim. Reality, per worm price is high, but per worm weight is tiny. Shelf life is short, so spoilage is a constant loss. Home cultures crash from mold and disease, and you compete with established farms on price. A strong premium add-on, not a standalone money printer. Number two, hornworms. The bright green tobacco hornworm caterpillar sold as a fast-growing, hydrating premium treat for bearded dragons and chameleons raised in cups on artificial wheat germ diet. Very few hobbyists produce them, and the reasons are real. It is a federally regulated plant pest, and it runs on a brutal perishability clock. Both filters are exactly why the per-cup margin looks so good. Real math. Startup is $100 to $250, a kit with eggs, chow, rearing cups, and a breeding cage to close the loop. Ongoing runs $25 to $60 a month, dominated by chow. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner in year one is $50 to $200, strong per cup margin, but the 30-day perishability and moth breeding complexity eat into it fast. The per pound number is high precisely because they sell by the small cup. Hornworms ship as cups of about 25 for roughly $9 to $16. Pioneer Feeders tier is around $6 for 6, $9 for 24, $16 for 50 plus. Sold that way as a treat, the effective live price sits well north of $40 to $60 a pound, clearly above premium beef, on a bug grown in a cup of paste. Your two buyers, Reptile Keepers Direct and Reptile Expos like Repticon and local reptile shows, plus reptile shops and the Pioneer Feeders and Great Lakes Hornworm reseller and dropship channels. Now the legal edge, and hornworms are genuinely regulated, not a free-for-all feeder. Munduca sexta is a plant-feeding pest of tomato and tobacco, so interstate shipment legally requires a USDA APHQ 526 permit, and processing can take 30+ days and may require a facility inspection by your state ag department. Hawaii effectively walls it out. Correct the hype. The easy high-margin treatworm pitch ignores that hornworms run on a 30-day perishable clock and must sell or get used before they balloon and pupate, and they legally need a PPQ 526 for interstate sales. So the fast money worm is the one most likely to rot in the cup or earn you a regulatory letter. Sell locally, sell fast, or do the permit properly. Number 1. Premium Cubaris isopods, the collector morphs, rubber ducky, and panda king, and the rare lines. Tiny tropical roly-polies bred as living collectibles, sold one animal at a time by color morph, never by the pound. Almost nobody mass produces the rare lines because they breed slowly, and the top morphs sit in a murky legal zone, which is exactly what keeps the single bug price absurd. This is the shock closer. Here is the math that breaks the chart. A single rubber ducky isopod runs about $6.50 to $19 each. Panda kings about $2 each. And top collector morphs hit $30 to $50+ each. A Cubaris weighs only a few hundredths of a gram, so it takes very roughly 4,000 to 8,000 of them to make 1 pound. At even $5 each, that is on the order of $20,000 to $40,000 per pound of live isopods. And at $30 to $50 each for premium morphs, you are into 6 figures per pound. Premium beef is $15 to $30 a pound. These are worth tens of thousands per pound, a 4 to 5 figure multiple over steak. But here is the honest math, and it matters more than the hook. Startup is $80 to $250, ongoing just $5 to $20 a month. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner in year 1 is realistically $50 to $300. Because the per bug price is jaw-dropping, but slow breeding means you sell tens of animals a month at first, not thousands. Your 2 buyers, the Morph Market Invertebrates Marketplace, the primary online channel for morph isopods, and reptile and invert expos like Repticon, plus dedicated isopod forums, arachnoboards, and dendroboard. Now the load-bearing legal nuance. Cubaris are not on the USDA APHIS-approved roughly 30 species isopod list. As an exotic non-native, legal interstate sale technically requires a PPQ 526 permit and a containment facility, which most hobby sellers simply ignore, putting the whole top end in a gray zone. Hawaii bans or heavily restricts isopod imports, and most sellers refuse to ship there or to Puerto Rico and Alaska. Correct the hype, because this is the most abused number on the list. Worth thousands per pound, so it is a gold mine, is the myth. Reality, nobody sells them by the pound. You sell a handful of slow-breeding animals at a time. The rare morph prices keep falling as breeders flood the market. Panda King already crashed from premium to about $2, and the top end sits on shaky PPQ 526 and containment legality. The per pound number is a great hook, not a business plan. So how do these 7 stack on one shelf into one 3,500-ish aggregate? Build bottom up, because the cheap, fast bugs fund the slow, valuable ones and feed your other animals for free. Start with black soldier fly, mealworms, and crickets. Low startup, cash in weeks, and they cut your own feed bill. Layer in dubia next for steady, recurring volume. Then add the premium treats, waxworms and hornworms, for per cup margin. The Cubaris go last, slow breeding, but the highest value per square inch you can keep. Shared shelving, shared heat, feeders you grow yourself, that turns 7 break-even hobbies into one stacked income, built out after years. There is a free starter checklist in the description with the build order and the legal points per bug. That ranking is my honest read, ascending margin, ending on a bug worth more per pound than almost anything on Earth. But remember the promise I made at the top. The eye-popping per-pound numbers are real, and almost nobody sells by the pound, so treat them as the hook, not the business. The honest beginner reality is tens to low hundreds a month per bug, climbing to real recurring income only when you stack them over years. The one I would start tomorrow is number 5, Mealworms, the easiest, cheapest, lowest risk entry, then layer up from there. And the refrain that runs the whole list? Before you sell a single cup, check 3 things. Your city ordinance, because some towns restrict insect rearing. Your state ag department, because the PPQ 526 permit, the Florida Dubia ban, and the Hawaii and Alaska walls are real and enforced. And your HOA covenant or lease, because a federal feeder classification does not override your landlord. If a single number on this list surprised you, or you would rank them differently, tell me in the comments, because the people raising these on their actual shelves keep me honest. If the real math helped, the modest net numbers, and the legal landmines nobody else says out loud, subscribe, because that honesty is the whole channel. Next video, I take the single best starter bug here and go deep. The real first-year build, the real numbers, and the mistakes that cost beginners their first colony.